It's like somebody who says to you, I feel dead inside, doesn't just need a yoga class, for God's sake. This is where self-care can be problematic. So if a woman who is like, my hormones have tanked, I'm not sleeping, I'm teary and irritable, I'm foggy, and you're like, well, all you need to do is have 100 grams of protein and go to the gym and drink your water, and you have to meditate, and you have to lift heavy things. Are you kidding me? Like, these women just completely shut down, which I understand.
Welcome to Fated to Fabulous, the podcast for women who know that midlife is not the end. It's the beginning of something bold. I'm Kim Lovely, and I'm here with Vicki Kirby. We're here to talk to you about health, hormones, confidence, and joy. Midlife isn't about fading away. It's about stepping into your power and shining brighter than ever. Let's get into it.
Welcome, ladies. We're excited to have you back. The topic this week is the We Do Not Care Club. And I'm going to tell you that one of the hardest things that I see women go through, perimenopause into menopause transition, it's the I don't feel like myself, even to the extent of I feel dead inside. Now, this is the number one reason that women give me for seeking out menopause care. It is not the hot flashes. Of course, we know the weight gain's a big deal with all of us, but it's not the hot flashes. It's not the libido. It is the I have lost my spark. I don't feel like myself. This is every single day, and I just don't feel like we're talking about it enough.
That makes me sad. So, and here's my question too, is why did you pick the I Don't Care Club as our topic?
So if any of you are on social media, that is my little guilty pleasure. On TikTok, there is this lady, and her name is Melanie, and she is hilarious.
She is.
And she started posting this, I am the official, officiant of the We Do Not Care Club. And she starts listing off things she does not care about anymore since she has been a woman in midlife. And it is hilarious. It has gone completely viral. It's on all of the platforms now. And there are people opening chapters, okay? So she really speaks to us about, some of and it felt so perfect to call this topic the We Do Not Care Club version of our podcast.
I have listened to her. And this morning I listened to her and she said something like, and I'm not putting on makeup today. And if you don't like that, don't look at my face.
Don't look at my face.
That was really funny.
I love it.
Yeah. So, my heart hurt a little bit when you said, you have women who tell you, I don't feel like myself. I feel dead inside. What does that mean?
I can't tell you how frequently I hear it. It's so frequently. I've been through it. I get it. It's sort of I'm going through the motions. This is what I hear. I'm going through the motions. I don't enjoy the things I used to enjoy. I'm walking through my day, but I'm not getting excited about anything anymore. I'm just on robot mode.
Numb.
And I hear this specifically in menopausal women.
Heartbreaking.
So, Kim, I know physically what's going on, right? So we all know physically what's going on to a woman who's in midlife who says, I don't feel like myself.
Yeah.
We know what the abrupt shifts in hormones have done.
Yeah.
Maybe what the, additional stress, et cetera. What do you see as contributors? Because I know you see the same women that I do.
I do.
What do you see as contributors to that sort of lack of joy in this season of life for women?
So I think part of it comes to, where, menopause hits at a time in life when there's a lot of stuff going on in the external world around the woman, right? So she may have parents that are alive and needy or, in the end stages of a chronic disease. She may have kids who are either at home still requiring, the knee up the butt attention, or she may have kids that are, in college and sort of the fake adult stage, which still are really needy. So it's still that, place of a lot of need. And then, career-wise, you've been in your career probably 20 years or so, and
more pressure
more
on
pressure,
yourself.
and maybe sick of it.
Absolutely.
Right? And then some of the routines of life, making meals, doing laundry, doing carpool, like making beds, cleaning.
Mental load.
Yeah. I mean, I think it just sort of gets a little bit wearying, right? So,
and then toss on not sleeping and having hot flashes.
Gosh, right? Yeah. So all of the things that are happening to the body, and to your point, not feeling like yourself. And so if you're not feeling like yourself, then some of the things that you used in the past as tools to sort of buck yourself up or whatever, they're not there. You don't have them. Yeah. It's interesting as we were talking about, sort of that dead inside or numb. Yeah. I remember having that feeling, a real strong pull to run away. Like, right?
Like that's another thing. Women who are like, I love you, family. I love you, husband. I love you, whatever. I would gladly pack up and go to a small hut somewhere on a beach by myself forever and be fine.
I used to be jealous of people who traveled for their work. I did, because I'm like, what is the problem?
You get to lay in a hotel bed with a white bathrobe.
Right?
Yes.
And order room service and not clean anything. Like, I found it was just sort of a very overwhelming period of time.
This is also a time I see, like, in addition to all those other pressures too, this is a period where you're like, I'm reevaluating all of my relationships.
Yes.
I'm rethinking what it is. It causes this, like, cascade of, do I even want this? Do I want to do this career anymore? Do I want this marriage anymore? Like, there's a lot at stake when a woman reaches kind of this level.
One of the tools I use, which I think is really fun. So when I'm coaching women, I have lots of fun things I do. I have a big bowl of rocks, and we look at that bowl of rocks as your energy, and that your energy is finite. There's not an infinite amount of energy, especially in menopause, right? So, and we start saying, okay, what are the buckets of your life, right? So there's family, there's career, there's health, there's maybe your spirituality, maybe there's rest and restoration, right? So where are you putting your stones currently, right? So sort of dividing them up, like where, is the balance correct, right?
Gosh,
so if all it's
such
really,
a great tool.
It usually leads to tears, to be honest.
Of course it does.
Because
you're like, oh no, I have no damn rocks in this pile
right?
at all.
So, for women for whom spirituality is really important, they're spiritual, whether that's, religion or meditation or yoga or whatever, they're like, all their rocks are in their family and their career, and there's like no rocks left. And then they're wondering why nothing feels good. And they don't, so the things that are true and important.
Absolutely.
And so then what we do is we look at, okay, what would be, in a perfect world, what would you do? Like, don't hold back. And literally women they take their entire pile of rocks and they dump them into rest and restoration, right? Like, okay, that's where your inclination
where my need is, right?
Yeah.
So as a coach, Kim, so when you're meeting with these women, what are your recommendations? Like, what are you telling them to do or giving them advice about to get out of the funk of this and into feeling that thriving, that enjoyment, that joy again? What are you recommending?
I think some of it is choices. Right? Like being deliberate with your choices, being a little bit more greedy with your time and energy, right? Knowing that it's not infinite, that it is finite. Deciding, you have all of these different roles too, roles.
Yeah.
Being deliberate. If you're the head of your PTA, the school, and you have been for 5 years, do you really want to be doing that? If you do, choose it. If you don't, let it go, right?
We talked about this before coming on. We could talk forever, of course, but kind of decluttering your life a little bit, meaning like, in the years where we have our hormones are doing what they're supposed to do and these great, wonderful rhythms, we are holding up every ball and we're doing it beautifully. And we're doing the PTO and we're coaching girls on the run and we're, navigating kids and we're doing it and on like no sleep and we're still okay and we have energy to go to the gym. Bets are off when we have these hormone shifts and we don't have it to give. So you have to just reevaluate, especially while you're in the phase of healing and getting some hormone support and putting better. You need to decide, like, all those things don't fit me anymore. Again, like you said, the PTA, does it still fit me? Do I still like it? If not, it's got to go. Yeah. And we have to get comfortable letting things go
Yes.
to make more room for rocks in the piles they're supposed to
Yes.
be in for us.
And I dig into, some women feel like choosing themselves over something else is selfish.
Yeah, that's old programming.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we
all
look
have
at,
it.
yeah, we look into that. And to be honest, I'm probably a good example of not being not selfish. I think I always was a little bit more selfish than a lot of mothers, and I'm not embarrassed about that.
You shouldn't be.
I remember one poignant part of my kids were swimmers, and a lot of the moms of the swimmers, and let's face it, it's usually the moms bringing them out to their activities, would fill their water bottles and put them at the end of their lane and, watch them swim their practice. I would literally pull up to the Y and say, yeah, I'd be back at the car at 6:00. And I'd go do my own thing.
That's
I
right.
got this like sort of negative rap for it. Right? Because I wasn't the mother that was sitting in the stands watching their kids. I didn't get to know the group.
Watch a kid in the 1970s. Good God.
Right?
So after the 70s, right, where we had like absent parents, we became, and I will totally admit, I was one of the moms doing a little bit of helicoptering. What you were doing is giving your kids some self-sufficiency, but you were also
taking care of me.
Teaching your kids that you matter as a person.
Yes.
So that's so important. And
it is.
I think society, we have to shift the thinking around that as women. There's parts of like the we do not care that are actually okay.
Yes.
And we talked about that too. Like that, there is a gift about this season of life where you also recognize like people might not fit you anymore. And it's okay.
Yeah.
And you may not care as much about whether you did your hair or what you have for lunch. There is some joy in not caring as much what people think about you.
Yes.
Not caring as much. So recently, we had a visit with my mother-in-law. We had a great visit. She was with us for 2 weeks. And so I came home from work and she said, I have to tell you something. And she seemed nervous. And I said, what? And she said, I cleaned your fridge. And I was like, a few years ago, I would have been like, oh my God, that's so embarrassing. Like my fridge is a mess. I was like, high five.
Yay,
like,
thank you.
Because guess what? It was dirty and I didn't care to clean it before you came.
Right?
And so there's a lot to be said about what we used to care about or get hung up and,
my dear friend Joy.
Yeah.
Right? One of her best joyisms, and her kids have fondly named Joy statements as joyisms, was, if you're coming to see me, you are welcome anytime. If you're coming to see my house, give me 3 months notice, right? And I just, it's that freeing sense of relationships are more important, people are more important, right? So, So I congratulations on having your fridge cleaned. That is awesome. I love it.
It was beautiful. I was like,
I know,
can you
like,
stay longer?
yeah.
She cooked for us the whole time she was here.
Yeah, could you tackle under the sink? Like, that would be great next,
She did my
please.
spice rack. I'm like, oh, you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're having her come back in December.
The fridge needs cleaning again.
Yeah. So a couple of things that I just want to point out so we don't forget to get this in here is that if you're feeling, and you're sitting here listening and going, I feel that dead inside, I'm not feeling joy, etc. There's a few things that I would recommend. One is go see your clinician. Like make sure that your thyroid isn't pooping out. Make sure that, you don't have a vitamin deficiency, that there isn't something physiologically going on causing that for you. And then get in the hands of a hormone specialist, somebody who's practicing evidence-based medicine. Do an evaluation, talk about the pros and cons and risks and benefits of hormones. And if you're somebody who says, listen, I'm already on hormones. My GYN put me on some estrogen and maybe some progesterone. Is someone looking at your testosterone? Sometimes in my experience, in my practice, that's like just a little kiss. It just is what gets people to feel a little bit more, especially if what they're having is they may be already stable on their estrogen and progesterone, but the fog is still there, the get up and go isn't there, and the libido is down. That's when sometimes testosterone can be kind of like the kiss at the
cherry
end.
on top of the amazing sundae.
Yeah.
It sounds fantastic. Our last question. How do we tackle the controversial subject? So we have, in the past, I think if someone complained about, not complaining, but voicing concerns about feeling dead inside and not feeling like themselves, they might get the old advice of, oh, you need better self-care,
Oh, gosh.
right? Yeah.
That to me, like, I think that and you women get that all the time, especially. Oh, maybe you just need a yoga class. Like somebody who says to you, I feel dead inside, doesn't just need a yoga class for God's sake. This is where we can get into self-care can be problematic. So if a woman who is like, my hormones have tanked, I'm not sleeping, I'm teary and irritable, and I'm foggy. And you're like, well, all you need to do is have 100 grams of protein and go to the gym and drink your water. And you have to meditate and you have to lift heavy things. Are you kidding me? Like these women just completely shut down, which I understand. So even in my practice, I want at every visit to review those important building blocks. You can't put the second story in the house if there's cracks in the foundation. So going through, are you meeting your own needs? And if not, where is the struggle to find the time for you and what can we kind of navigate? But I am going to say all these things that I'm recommending to you today are a tomorrow thing. I want you to start with, here's what we started you on for hormones. I want you to eat a high protein breakfast and meet with Kim. Maybe we start there. Can you go for a 10-minute walk? Yeah. It's taking the shame, because that's what women feel. If they're like, no, I guess I'm not getting to my Pilates class. You feel like crap. We're going to help you not feel like crap so you can actually go to your Pilates class.
Get the benefit of it. Yeah.
We need to get rid of that like push to always blame self-care, because I think that in and of itself can become toxic.
Yeah. And maybe even rephrase it. Like pick one moment of joy. And that might be just sitting in your car 5 minutes longer before going in your house and just breathing. That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough.
And so ladies, if you're listening to this today, we're so happy to have had you here. This is a great topic, and I feel like we could talk about this forever. What I want you to know is if you're listening and you're like crying because you say, I feel heard because I don't feel well, you're not alone. So if everybody around you, especially on social media, looks like they're bubbly and happy and everything is great, they're probably in the same place.
Yeah.
So we all just need to join the We Do Not Care Club. But definitely know this is your season of life to shift your priorities to include you first. That is essential. And you deserve to feel good. You deserve to have good menopause care. Join us. We're going to have many, many more podcasts probably on this subject. We love having you here. Be well. Thank you.
Bye, friends. Thanks for spending time with Vicki and I today on Fated to Fabulous, where midlife is just the beginning of your boldest chapter yet. If you got something out of today's episode, we'd love it if you'd share it with a friend and leave a review. Hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you're looking for more support, inspiration, or sisterhood, come join us at fatedtofabulous.biz. Because you were never meant to do midlife alone. Until next time, stay fabulous.